So I was watching a YouTube video yesterday by Real Polish Fanatic, and she highlighted, I think she posted it maybe a couple days ago, but I saw it yesterday, and she was highlighting a new collection by Sally Hansen, Insta-Dri, collabing with Stranger Things, and there were 4 polishes that were crackle, but interestingly they have a color tone to them instead of being your normal black, and then on occasion you'll find a white one. But these have some color tones to them. And then I think there's 2 creams and 2 glow-in-the-darks in that collection also. So as soon as I was done with the video, I ran up to CVS to see if I could find them. And I found 4, well, I found everything. But of the 4 crackles, there was only 1 left on 2 of the colors. So I just quickly grabbed all of them and 1 of the glow-in-the-darks. And so what I'm going to do is go over the 4 colors and then show some swatches that I've done with like just some interesting things you can do with these crackle polishes. Okay, so the glow-in-the-dark, that one is called Clash. It's number 749, and it's their orange glow-in-the-dark shade. The glow-in-the-dark effect is sort of like a bright yellow, like a lemony yellow color, I thought. But it's really pretty on. I did swatch it to do it as a base under one of the crackles, and it actually looks really pretty on its own. It's got a kind of a peachy tone to it. And then the first crackle I'll show you is number 743, and it's called Between Worlds. And this one is the brown shade. And if you're out in the like natural sunlight, you can see kind of the brown tones, especially like right in the corners of the glass bottle. But just in natural light, or just in indoor lighting, and then also it's kind of a bit hard to see even in the sunlight. They all look black. You just kind of have to catch the color a little bit in the corners and the aura around the bottle. And then number 742, Rift. This is their sort of magenta red color. And then 745, Missing. This is sort of like a swampy, olivey green color. And then the last one is 744, Nether. And this one is a really deep purple. Okay, so getting into the swatches themselves, first I'll apologize because I don't have a super great setup. I've just got kind of a couple of different lights that I've got surrounding my nail polish art mat, and then I'm just going to zoom in on my phone and hopefully it'll pick everything up. But the reason I wanted to do this is because I personally love crackle finish, and I've been doing nail art since I was 15. Or just nail polish since I was 15. And I don't think I've ever gone with just like bare nails since then. And I'm gonna turn 53 in a couple of months. So I love polish, and I think the crackle finish is a really cool one because it has a great effect, but also because if you have somebody that's just getting into nail art at whatever age, it's a really cool finish to start with and have a really rewarding effect or look without too much technique. So I wanted to just share these ideas. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm so sorry, but I'm just going to zoom in on my phone, and then hopefully I have enough lighting to be able to pick up the nail art. But the first swatch is going to be for the brown color Between Worlds. And what I have here is just a little swatch stick. And this is just a clear base coat, and I'll show you that. I use a lot of like the LA Colors base coats. I do have some other like really great base coats, but this is one that I grab a lot. And I also like refill it with like, you know, other base coats that are finishing, and I you can't really get to the bottom, so I'll just kind of top off this bottle a lot. But you want to put a base coat down because crackle polish needs something to grab onto to be able to crackle. And I can actually show you a swatch where I didn't do that just by mistake. You can kind of see what goes wrong if you don't have a base coat. But really for this nail art, all you need is a clear coat, a base coat at the bottom, and then the polish itself. And this is a very straightforward one. I just wanted to kind of see the brown one with a basic crackle. So I did the base coat, let that dry till it was just a little bit tacky. And then this is just one vertical swipe of the brown color. And after a few moments, it starts to crack. And this is what it looks like. And it gives you a really cool effect. Like this one would be great for if you have, you know, if you have been doing nail art for a while and you have some higher techniques and can do like stamping. If you have like bugs or beetles or mummies, this brown color would be fantastic. And then what's really cool about this particular polish is that, like I said, there is a base color under there. Normally there is not. Okay, the next color is for Rift, the red color. And so this technique I saw on Real Polish Fanatic. She just did a straight vertical swipe and then just sort of swooped up to the side. And I was like, wow, that looks super cool. And this one would be fantastic for kind of a winged effect. So, you know, staying kind of with that Halloween theme, if you want to, you could do like dark angels or dragon wings, or and you can also make this a accent nail for stamping. So, you know, if you have like dragon stamps that you used, and then this could be your accent nail. And that really pretty, like kind of like black cherry color underneath is super pretty. And then we have the green color. This is Missing, is the name of this color. And on this one, I just went with like a full horizontal swipe. I think I did it. You can kind of see where there's like 3 swipes there, but the effect is still, I think, really good. So if you're doing like Frankenstein or Swamp Thing or mummy nail art, or you could also do like, you know, if you don't want to do a like traditional Halloween look, you could do like lilies and toads, and then kind of have this as like a dark little accent nail. And there's that, you can see that sort of like swampy olive color that's underneath. And even on the side, I sort of missed a little section, and I just went in and did some little side swipes, and I think it looks, it has like a nice intentional effect once the cracks appear. Okay, and this one ended up having one of my favorite effects. This is 3 coats of Clash, the orange glow-in-the-dark, and then it is 1 vertical swipe of Missing, which was the green polish, and it ended up looking fantastic. Like, it literally looks like jellyfish tentacles. It's super beautiful. And I don't know, I mean, this is just a one shot on the swatch stick just to kind of see what it was going to look like. So I don't know if this is what they'll all turn out like, but this one, like if you have maybe a neon jelly base coat and then the purple on top, even in the summertime, if it does turn out this way, to do like a jellyfish tentacle effect. But this would be awesome for like a dark mermaid look for Halloween. Okay, and last I'm going to show you multiples of Nether, which is the purple. And it swatches where that one I kind of started very Bob Ross with like a happy little accident, and then it just sort of triggered an idea of, okay, well, what if I try it this way, this way, this way? So I'm going to show you the 4 different swatch sticks that I ended up with for that one. So this first one is Nether, where I did a single swipe vertical. It was like, I think it was like 2 swipes vertical. And then I wanted to see what it would look like sort of with a S-shaped swipe. So I did that. But, you know, Crackle doesn't always like second coats. So I actually think this one turned out pretty cool. It sort of has like a dark garden, dark academia effect, where there's sort of like chaotic swirls. So I think maybe this one with like silver gold accents. This is definitely, you know, I would work with this. This is not something that I would take off and then start over. I just sort of continue to work with this until it had a look that I like. But I think there's lots of themes that this would go with, like a very like voodoo or like New Orleans vampire, very like Anne Rice look. I think this is super cool looking, and I was actually surprised that it didn't totally ruin it doing 2 coats of the Crackle. But this is 2 coats with nothing between it. It's just coat on coat. And then I'll show you, this is the, I don't know if this will pick up, but this is one of the many base coats that I have. This is one that I just sort of top off. I'm not sure if it comes in this pink color, but this is just me topping off with lots of base coats that I collected. But it's important, no matter what you use, to put a base coat down first and then Crackle. And then this is what it looked like with the Crackle polish in that same technique I just described, where it's one vertical swipe and then the swirl, but sandwiched between was another base coat. So I was kind of wondering if like a base coat would induce more crackling. So what I did was I put down the base coat, did the vertical swipe, let that crackle, then I put down another base coat, and then I did the swirl swipe. And I don't know that it necessarily allowed more crackling, but what it did do was sort of accentuate the depth between the crackle and the polish that isn't cracked. So that's kind of a cool look too, if you're going for something a little bit more like, I don't know, maybe like monster art. It kind of has almost like an effect of sort of like latex on the face, you know, when you do makeup special effects, it sort of gives that. So that's, like I said, still looks cool in its own way, and I work with that. And then the last one is I used Cirque Colors in the color Bonbon, which is a dark plum jelly. And I put that down as the base coat, and then I did the swirl on top of that. So again, that's very dark academia, dark roses, dark garden. If you had like maybe that same plum jelly and did like some gold butterfly, silver butterfly nail stamps, That would look cool too, like dark roses in the garden or a night garden look. And then the last one is the error that I was talking about, where I did not put a base coat down. I just put the Sally Hansen crackle straight on the swatch stick, and you can see, and I did one coat and then was waiting for it to crackle, and I was like, that's strange. It's not really crackling. And then I went in with the second swirl coat, and I realized it's because I didn't have a base coat. So I repeated it with the base coat, and that's where I got the deeper crackle effect. However, I did notice on this one, on just that one single swipe, you can see in the corner where it looks kind of cool. It sort of looks like a murky window. So if you were doing some nail art where you wanted it to look like windows through an abandoned asylum or something, really kind of nuanced nail art that's very specific to a genre. I don't know, I wonder if you could recreate that effect where the crackle doesn't really crackle if you don't use a base coat, just like apply it straight on. And, or if you're making, maybe you're making your own press-on nails, you could put it on there without a base coat and let it sort of give you that mucky, murky, almost like it's transparent, but of course it's not because these are opaque polishes, but to give you that little bit of like sheer transparency that's also matte. It's really cool. So that's it. If you get a chance to pick it up, pick up at least the crackle polishes at CVS. I think it's maybe going to be up through Halloween. It's their collab with Stranger Things, and these were the crackle finishes. Just pick them up or pick up one or two and just play with them and see what you can come up with. I got all these really cool effects just sort of experimenting. And I think they are set at like $7.99 a bottle. But like Polish Fanatic pointed out, there are usually coupons at CVS. So I think I ended up with something like a $10 off coupon that just happened to be on my care card. So if you've got one of those, I think they have kiosks in the store where you can walk up and put in your data, and it will print out any coupons that you've got that are available, and then you can grab these for a bit of a discount.